Okay. I hope you are able to see the screen. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you have studied about the atoms for almost 6 7 years. So the atom word was coined and then it was used by John Dalton, an English teacher. Okay. And then uh, the search for this atom started. Then people started thinking about the atoms as a solid ball like this, and there is nothing inside this solid ball. So all the matter is there. Now, when you say there is a solid ball like this, obviously another one will be like this and like this and like this, and there will be a space in between. Okay, no matter what, and generally, whenever you talk about any particle, the first size or sorry, not size, the shape that comes to your mind is the spherical, right? So it was like for atom, there would be some particles which will the finest particles, and then they will get attached with each other, and you will have these atoms. Then these solid, liquid, and gases were discussed, or they will define on the basis of interatomic distances, and so on and so forth. Now, the first breakthrough was J.J. Thomson, and what Thomson said that atom is atom itself means indivisible. Okay, atom का meaning ही indivisible होता है. But Thomson they said that it is not indivisible. It can be divided, and it can be divided into two different particles. So one of them is positive, the other one is negative. Of course, that was known in electricity by Franklin, and Franklin also discussed about this positive and negative charges. But in static electricity, and there was no connection between this atom and the static electricity at that time. Nobody was knowing what is going inside this atom. So he coined this positive particle as proton and negative particle as electron, and he said that it is something like fruit dish model, like this. So you can have some positive and you can have some negative in between. Okay. But then Rutherford did some experiments, and Rutherford did this experiment repeatedly. He sent the alpha particles to this, and he was expecting that almost all of them will scatter, maybe in different direction. Okay, and most of them will come back. To his surprise, very few come back. Very few. One in like 6,000 or something like that. Very, very less. And almost all were pass. What does it mean? That means the atom that we are talking about is hollow, and only the mass of the atom is concentrated at the center. Now, is it possible? Is it? I mean, how about the other atom which is hollow and its mass is at the center? So, why these are like this? Okay, so that was the question, and Rutherford had no answer to this. So he said just this is something like this, and then he said he just gave the explanation that the mass is here and very few mass may be here somewhere. We don't know. Okay, that was his idea. And then came Bohr, Niels Bohr. Bohr was theoretician, and Bohr took his idea and he said that the whole mass is concentrated at the center, which is called the nucleus, and the negative charges are revolving around the nucleus, like this, different orbits. And he gave the number of electrons in given orbit are fixed. You cannot have a random number of electrons in different orbits. That we have studied. So up till now, up to Bohr, everybody was thinking about this. Just a minute. So everybody was thinking of these electrons and these protons and all these atoms as a particle. But suddenly, after Bohr, there was one scientist named as De Broglie from France, Louis De Broglie, whose elder brother was Austin De Broglie, who was mathematician. So he suggested him to take physics, and then he took this problem that whether the electrons are revolving around the because when you accelerate the electron, you will get the electromagnetic radiation. That was known. That was well known. So why we don't get the electromagnetic radiation? That is the problem. The electron is accelerating. Electron is moving in the orbit. So its velocity is continuously changing. So even though magnitude remains constant, the direction is changing. So therefore it has acceleration. So these accelerated electrons are not giving out any energy. How is it possible? What De Broglie took that he was knowing about the photon. Of course, the rest mass of the photon is zero. That means you cannot stop the photon and ask his name. As soon as you stop the photon, it will disappear. You can't have photon in stationary state. So we were knowing the wave and particle nature of the photon. So photon can work as a particle, it can behave as wave also depending upon the situation. So what he thought is just let me add some more particles to this, and he talked about the electron wave. This is absurd. Electron is a particle, how it can behave as a wave? And that's why I asked you yesterday the question that how can you move away, move out from the room where the door is closed and the window is closed and then another window. Which one? Ventilation window is also closed. So only wave can come out of this situation, and that is not the wave that you are considering like water wave and other kind of waves. Now, as soon as he thought about the wave, of course, he proposed his theory in I think 1924, and he got Nobel Prize within 4 years or 5 years, 1928 or 29. 28 was C.V. Raman, maybe 29. So that is the importance of uh, the de Broglie equation, de Broglie theory about the particle wave nature. What is proposed that every particle which has the momentum p. What is momentum? It is mass into velocity. Now, when you say momentum, that means it is particle because it has mass. Now, this is related with h by lambda. Okay, so lambda is related to wave nature. So this is so simple equation. Here just took E equal to mc square and E equal to h nu. Just combine these two. H nu means h c over lambda. Just combine these two, and you get the equation P equal to h by lambda or lambda equal to h by p. Now this shows that the particles have the wave nature as well as it has the particle nature. Yeah. Any question? Up to De Broglie, everybody was thinking about atom as solar mini solar model. तो सोलर सिस्टम जैसा है वैसे एक छोटा सा सोलर सिस्टम है and it was in our ancient scripts also Pindite Brahmandi. Okay. So that was already given, but then the breakthrough was given by Heisenberg, and Heisenberg said don't consider atom as a physical model, any shape. You can't consider this as any shape. This is just a mathematical quantity, like like this. You know what is this? Something like this. What is this? You have studied this in mathematics?
Matrix.
Yes. So he proposed that the atom is just a matrix. It's kind of mathematical quantity, a mathematical entity. Okay? Of course, on the basis of this and advanced theory, there was a movie called as Matrix. Okay? You can watch it. That one. Now the question is how to understand this, that this is a mathematical uh, entity and you can't uh, imagine any shape, because we always try to think about not the numbers but the shape, size, image. Okay, so his theory was not much accepted, but at the same time, Schrodinger, a German, around 1928, a similar time. This is also around 1928 or 27. He proposes wave theory. What did is we talk about these waves, the particle waves. Okay? So he took this lambda as a wave, and then he thought that let me write equation for these waves. So if the wave is lambda, then there must be a wave equation. Sorry, wave function. Okay, and he just gave this typical psi symbol, like it is similar to what you do in normal waves. For example, y is equal to a sine omega t. So here you are using the y as a amplitude. Okay. Here, sorry, not amplitude, displacement. This is amplitude A. So here we are using the psi as a wave function. Psi is the wave function of say x, y, z, and t. And then he designed his theory. But Heisenberg, what he said, that when you talk about the particle or the wave, this value delta x and delta p cannot be less than h cross by 2. That was his statement. Now it was so mathematical that people don't understand it, and if they understand, they were not ready to accept it. How is it possible that you cannot find out the position position and momentum of the particle at the same time? But this is the fundamental principle of the uncertainty principle. This is uncertainty. Okay. Okay. Any question? Any doubt up till now? Anything that you have not understood? Okay. Anything that you have understood? So this may appear very complex, and you may say that this is part of physics. Why electrical engineers should learn about it? So when you talk about say nanoparticles, nanomaterials, okay? For example, graphene, the sibling of graphite. ग्राफाइट पता है आप लोगों को?
Insulates.
हाँ, तो उसका ये एक दूर का रिश्तेदार है ग्राफीन. और दिस graphene is highly conductive and is very thin. For example, in nanoparticles, when you go to nano level, the properties of all the materials changes drastically with respect to their properties in bulk. For example, what is the color of gold? What
Light
is it?
yellowish.
Yeah, so it is typically called as golden yellow. right? But if you go to nanoparticles of the gold, they may not have this color. In general, carbon is whether it is insulator or conductor,
Insulator, but
it is
partially conductor.
yeah, partially कैसे होगा?
सर ग्रेफाइट में से होती ना
हाँ,
सर.
ग्रेफाइट में होता है, लेकिन इन जनरल कार्बन एज अ एलिमेंट इट इज इंसुलेटर. But if you talk about nanocarbon is very highly conductive. These properties are not able to explain by the classical theory, but quantum theory does explain this very well. And therefore, whatever the theory that you will learn about, say transistor, diode, all electronic equipment, electronic, not electrical, or micro level, anything micro level, there you will have to use the quantum mechanics. That's why it is very important to learn it. Okay? Got it? Now, Heisenberg was not experimentalist. He was theoretician. So he just solved the problems and he just tried to find out try to understand the nature of atom through the mathematics. So it was so complex that it was very difficult for others to understand. But anyway, he just gave his theory very nicely. And on the basis of this, what we'll do is we'll try to find out whether there is a typical problem. This is nucleus, and nucleus consists of what are the particles in the nucleus?
Neutron, proton.
Proton and neutron. Do you have any negatively charged particle in the uh, nucleus, like electron?
No.
No. But when you have this beta decay, you know what is beta decay? Beta decay
Yes, sir.
consists of, yes, beta decay consists of electrons. So they are negatively charged. Now, how do you know that the electrons that are coming out from certain material are from the nucleus and not from the orbit? ये आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि ऑर्बिट में से नहीं आ रहे वो इलेक्ट्रॉन, वो न्यूक्लियस में से ही आ रहे? ये आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? हाउ कैन यू एंश्योर?
सर वो लेड ब्लॉक एक्सपेरिमेंट.
और नहीं नहीं, वो तो ठीक है, वो तो इलेक्ट्रॉन ही है ना. इलेक्ट्रॉन तो एटम के ऑर्बिट में भी है ना. आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि ऑर्बिट में से इलेक्ट्रॉन नहीं आ रहा है? रेडियो एक्टिव मटेरियल है तो वो बीटा डीके जो हो रहा है वो न्यूक्लियस के अंदर से, न्यूक्लियस में तो प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन है, इलेक्ट्रॉन कहाँ से आ गए? दिस इज अ वेरी टिपिकल एग्जांपल, वेरी टिपिकल एग्जांपल. वी नो द रिजल्ट एंड वी आर जस्ट मेकिंग गेस. अगर मान लो कि किसी एटम में से इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहर निकलता है और ऑर्बिट में से निकलता है तो क्या होगा?
रेडिएशन एक्सर्ट करेंगे.
नहीं, रेडिएशन तो दोनों केस में होगा, न्यूक्लियस से आए या एटम से आए, डजंट मैटर.
सर एटॉमिक नंबर चेंज हो गया सर.
एटॉमिक नंबर किस में चेंज होगा, न्यूक्लियर रेडिएशन में या एटम से जो इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहर निकल रहा है ऑर्बिट से उसमें? In this case, the atomic number changes. Okay, but if you take this electron out, then just this gives ion. That's it. The material remains same. For example, sodium gives one electron. So sodium positive ion and one electron. And the energy of this electron is very less, very less. Okay. So that was a typical problem at that time, and Heisenberg tried to solve it mathematically. So what he considered that suppose you want to find out uh, the position of the electron in the nucleus. Now what could be the uncertainty? ज्यादा से ज्यादा एरर कितना हो सकता है? मान लो कि आप रूम में एक ऑब्जेक्ट रखा है, तो उसका आपको वॉल से वो कितना दूर है वो फाइंड आउट करना है. तो हाउ मच एरर इट कैन हैव मैक्सिमम? ज्यादा से ज्यादा गलती कितनी हो सकती है? इट्स वेरी सिंपल. आप एक वॉल के बिल्कुल नजदीक है वो, और आप दूसरे वॉल को उसको कंसीडर कर रहे हो. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? Suppose this is the length of this wall, and if object is here and you assume it here, so that is the maximum error. Are you getting my point? Yes, no?
एल से होंगे सर मैक्सिमम.
L maximum कितना हो सकता है? L हो सकता है, right? Now suppose the R is the radius of this nucleus. न्यूक्लियस में अगर हम मान के चलते कि इलेक्ट्रॉन है, बिकॉज वहां से तो वो बाहर भी आ रहा है ना. So if electron is there and we find out, we'll try to find out its energy. ठीक है, क्योंकि एक्सपेरिमेंट से हमें पता है कि ये बीटा डीके जो होता है, इट हैज द एनर्जी एज अबाउट 4 MeV. ठीक है, 2 to 4 MeV, approximately 4 MeV. Now we'll see that whether the electron is there or not. Okay? तो अगर इतनी एनर्जी वाला इलेक्ट्रॉन यहाँ पे अगर हम थ्योरेटिकली फाइंड आउट करते हैं इसकी एनर्जी, जो अगर मान के चलते कि न्यूक्लियस में इलेक्ट्रॉन है और फिर उसकी एनर्जी कितनी है ये हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे. अगर वो इसके कंपेरेबल होगी तो यस, इलेक्ट्रॉन इज देयर इन द न्यूक्लियस. लेकिन अगर नहीं है, बहुत ज्यादा है या बहुत कम है, देन इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर इलेक्ट्रॉन टू स्टे देयर. ठीक है, बिकॉज यू कैनॉट सी एनीथिंग, इवन यू कांट सी द एटम. Even at today's time, you can't see the atom, so it is not possible to see the nucleus also. Okay, so let us take the nuclear radius. Nuclear radius, say R is equal to 10 to the power minus 14 meter. Approximately we are taking 14 or 15. Let us take 15. Okay. So maximum error delta x will be of the order of 10 to the power minus 15 meter. ठीक. Now we take the limiting value, and what is the limiting value? Which is equal to, instead of greater than, we will write the equal to. So delta x into delta p is equal to h cross by 2. And remember, we are just taking the approximation. We are just considering the approximate values for all these. So we know the value of this h cross. H cross is 10 to the power minus 34. Okay. Delta x is 10 to the power 15 minus 15. And therefore delta p will be equal to. So delta p will be equal to 10 to the power minus 34 divided by 10 to the power minus 15. कितना आएगा? This will be always approximate.
10 to the power minus 19.
Minus 19. सही है? Now if this is the momentum, error in the momentum, okay, so that can be a minimum error in the momentum, because this is the maximum. ये maximum होगा तो ये minimum होगा, ये याद रखना. ठीक है? So that the product is constant. So if there is a maximum error in the measurement of electron inside the nucleus, then we will have the minimum momentum of the electron. and we can approximate this as the momentum itself, because this is minimum value, and this will be, इसका यूनिट क्या आएगा मोमेंटम का? मोमेंटम का यूनिट क्या आएगा? किलोग्राम मीटर पर सेकंड, मास into velocity. Now we can find out the energy from this. How we can find out the energy? Energy is nothing but P into C. ये कहाँ से आ गया? अभी तक तो हमने हाफ mv स्क्वायर पढ़ा था, but that is for non-relativistic case. Non-relativistic मतलब if the speed of that object is very very less as compared to the speed of light. Now here it is very comparable with the speed of light, not more than, but it is comparable, and therefore we use this formula, and therefore this is equal to 10 to the power minus 19 kilogram meter, sorry, ठीक है, यहाँ पे यूनिट नहीं लिखते, into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, and therefore this comes out to be कितना था ये?
10 to the power minus 11.
10 to the power minus 11. यूनिट क्या आएगा एनर्जी का?
इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट।
नहीं, इस केस में इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट नहीं आएगा,
Joule.
it is joule. Now we have to convert, to electron volt. So when you want to convert this joule into electron volt, what you do is you divide this by 1.6 10 to the power minus 19. So this becomes now, sorry, not joule now, this becomes electron volt. तो ये कितना आएगा approximately 10 to the power minus 11 and 10 to the power minus 19. So this is 10 to the power 8 eV. Okay, so this is approximate. अगर आप एग्जैक्ट कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तो इट इज समवेयर 10 to the power 7 eV. ठीक है, सो दिस 10 to the power 7 eV मतलब 10 MeV. ठीक है, सो कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू ऑफ द एनर्जी इज 10 MeV. लेकिन जो बाहर आ रहा है बीटा डी के, उसकी एनर्जी कितनी है? सिर्फ 2 to 4 MeV. Now 6 MeV is lost if you think about it. ठीक है, are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Yes or no? न्यूक्लियस में अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन है, ये पूरा कैलकुलेशन करने के बाद हमें क्या समझ में है, न्यूक्लियस में अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन है तो उसकी एनर्जी कितनी होनी चाहिए? थ्योरेटिकली 10 MeV. ठीक, अगर न्यूक्लियस में इलेक्ट्रॉन है तो वो 10 MeV वाला इलेक्ट्रॉन होगा. अगर ये इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहर आता है और हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि ठीक है, उसको थोड़ा सा अट्रैक्शन रिपल्शन जो भी फोर्सेस लग रहे हैं उसकी वजह से उसकी एनर्जी कम हो जाएगी. लेकिन कम होगी तो कितनी कम होगी? 10 का 9 हो सकता है, 8 हो सकता है. ठीक है, 4 MeV मतलब 6 MeV इज लॉस्ट. 6 MeV इज वेरी वेरी हाई एनर्जी. ये एक इलेक्ट्रॉन के लिए हम बात कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ एक इलेक्ट्रॉन के लिए. Now when you talk about the beta decay, there will be number of electrons. Even हम सिंपल एक कूलम चार्ज लेते तो कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होते, राइट? समवेयर 20 to the power 25. तो इसको अगर मल्टीप्लाई करोगे आप तो 10 MeV into that much, इतनी सारी इनॉर्मस एनर्जी हो जाएगी. बट दैट इज नॉट व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. ये ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है. So theoretically we can prove using the Heisenberg principle that electron does not exist inside the nucleus. ठीक है, हर चीज के लिए हम प्रैक्टिकल कर पाएंगे ऐसा नहीं है, but yes we have this practical data. So he showed that it is working model for his idea. that is the uncertainty. Okay? And in quantum mechanics, the funny thing is that whosoever has given the his theory, and then later on the basis of his theory, other people tried to find out the implications. मतलब इस theory का आगे जाके क्या use हो सकता है, कैसे इसको use कर सकते हैं. Now the same person was not ready to understand or accept कैसे हो सकता है. And almost everybody did this. Almost everybody. You talk about Planck. प्लैंक ने कहा कि मैंने एक मैथमेटिकल मॉडल के लिए E इक्वल टू एच म्यू लिख दिया, ठीक है, एंड दिस H was well known as Planck's constant. But then when he thought about the Bohr's theory, he was not ready to accept. नहीं नहीं ऐसे कैसे हो सकता. Even Bohr gave his theory, and then Sommerfeld extended it, and then when Schrödinger tried to put his theory, he was not ready to accept. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे लोगों के बारे में हुआ है. Even Heisenberg's uncertainty principle was used for matrix mechanics later on by Heisenberg. His theory was not at all accepted. बहुत सारे मतलब Heisenberg was unlucky in that case. But at the end, the result of Schrödinger equation and Heisenberg equation was same. And Schrödinger calculation were tedious. Typical mathematical calculations, integration करो, ये करो, वो करो. आप लोगों ने किया होगा differential equation solve करना. That is tedious. Matrix is much easier as compared to that. Then Einstein gave his theory, and Einstein की theory से ही दूसरी जो theory निकली, Einstein was not ready to believe. So this is something absurd, is illogical. So, but it is very important. So people try to find the logic in it also. तो वो जो मजा है वो आपको लेना चाहिए, ठीक है. Okay, so I think that is enough for this Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Any doubt, any question? नहीं. बट स्टिल द क्वेश्चन रिमेन्स कि अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन नहीं है न्यूक्लियस में, तो वो न्यूक्लियस से बाहर आने वाला इलेक्ट्रॉन कहाँ से आता है? न्यूक्लियस में तो होता ही नहीं. एनीबॉडी? नहीं. Okay, let me tell you a small story about this. जॉर्ज गैमो का नाम सुना है आप लोगों ने? नहीं सुना है तो ठीक है, इट्स ओके, यू आर इंजीनियर्स. नहीं सुना है, नहीं सुना है, नहीं बोल दो. नो. ओके, यू नो अबाउट अल्फा पार्टिकल?
Yes, sir.
तो अल्फा पार्टिकल ये न्यूक्लियस से कैसे बाहर आता है, उसकी एक थ्योरी है. मैथमेटिकली यू हैव टू प्रूव इट. दिस इज व्हाट इट इज हैपनिंग, and this much energy is coming out, and so forth. So George Gamow gave his theory, and it was well accepted, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी उसमें पॉजिटिव पार्टिकल्स है न्यूक्लियस में. तो इट इज वेरी सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि द पॉजिटिव पार्टिकल्स आर कमिंग आउट. ज्यादा हो गए इसलिए वो घर से बाहर निकल गए. राइट? आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? इट इज वेरी इजी. एंड व्हाट जॉर्ज गैमो सेड इज वेरी इजी, मतलब इतना भी नहीं है, वो पढ़ने के लिए थोड़ा सा बहुत टफ जाता है. So we know that say uranium 92 238, so that can give the alpha particle plus a 2He4. This is helium center. Okay. And then what are the material you have here that will be created? Say X, and then this is 90, and this is 234. Okay. What are it? So he explained this process completely with some energy. So how much energy mathematically he proved, and that was exactly same as that of the practical. But now if you consider that this is uranium and it is giving out beta electron, electron कहाँ से दे रहा है? So in a conference, he said that it is really unfortunate that we don't have any theory for this uh, beta decay. George Gamow was quite old person at that time. There was one young scientist who was uh, listening to this, and he also कॉन्फ्रेंस में बहुत सारे पेपर थे, वो एक पेपर उसने पढ़ा जिसमें न्यूट्रिनो के बारे में लिखा था. And suddenly something strike on it, and he went to his room in his hotel, and second day he put forth his theory. एक रात में उसने theory लिख दी पूरी, and he proved that whenever there is a neutron get converted into proton. Now what is the charge on neutron? It is 0. What is the mass of neutron? 1. What is the charge on proton? 1. What is the charge mass of proton? 1. अब बचा कितना? Plus mass तो बचा ही नहीं है, so mass is 0. And this is 0 and this is 1. So you must have minus 1 here. Am I right? ये आप लोगों ने केमिस्ट्री में किया होगा. लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में देखो, चार्ज इज 0, राइट हैंड साइड 1 minus 1, charge is 0. Left hand side mass is 1, right hand side 1 plus 0, 1. Plus of course there are some particles which are having 0 charge and 0 mass. Okay, we are not going to get into much detail of this, but these are the particles which are there inside the nucleus and they help for this conversion, and this is what the beta decay is. Mathematically it is very complex theory, very complex. Okay? ये इतना आसान नहीं है जो मैंने लिख दिया. Okay, and that scientist was Enrico Fermi. नाम सुना है? Very young scientist, very talented, unfortunately died with uh, blood cancer, just like Marie Curie. Very talented. Fermi's theory in beta decay, उसका उसके नाम से फिर वो यूनिट भी आ गया, फर्मी 10 to the power minus 15. Okay. And in electronics you have this Fermi level and so on and so forth. So he took the inspiration from Gamow's lecture and he just wrote all the equations within a night. That's marvelous. And about him, Einstein once said that I know that the theory of relativity is understood by only 3 people. So there was one scientist who was sitting next to Einstein in the conference who proved his theory. मतलब आइंस्टाइन की थ्योरी प्रूव करने वाला जो साइंटिस्ट था उसने पूछा हु इज द थर्ड. He was very confident that first one is Einstein, second one that person. So he said the third one is Enrico Fermi, and at that time Enrico Fermi was just 21. You can imagine कि कॉन्फ्रेंस में ऐसे बोलना कि सिर्फ एक 21 साल के बच्चे को ही समझ में आ रहा है कि ये मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, ये आइंस्टाइन बोल रहा है. You can understand what is his capacity, Fermi's capacity. Okay, that is not a part of syllabus. Debatu will never ask you. But this is what it is interesting, and therefore, I mean, no university asks like this question, not only Debatu. But you should know it. You should enjoy how the science progress over the years. Okay. Okay, I think that's it from my side. If you have any question, go ahead.